One-on-one, never lost. Went to the finals, never lost.
You never got there, LeVar.
Who?
You.
I've been a one-on-one champ. Never lost one-on-one.
All right.
Fuck you, mean?
Back at it again, Scott Smith. You know what time it is. It's time for the top 10 most intriguing games of East Texas. This is week 6 we're going into. It's a big bye week for a lot of teams this week. A lot of the bigger districts taking their bye here in the middle of the year. But there's still 10 intriguing games that you guys need to see this Friday. And we'll get to those later. But like we do every week, let's look at the top 10 players and the top 10 plays of last week. But before we get into that, we got to talk about the team of the week. The team of the week this week are the Tyler Legacy Red Raiders. And the Red Raiders finally got their first win of the week. And an upset. I didn't think that they would beat Mesquite this week, but they went and they ran right through Mesquite this past Friday with the fair in the background. It was a great time, great East Texas ass kicking they gave to Mesquite. They went ahead and blasted them, I think 32-14. A big win from a team that was struggling. They got close last week. You know, they played Texas High 17-14, an extremely close game. But this time they put it all together. The quarterback Luke Wolf had an incredible game, a great rushing attack. I think they ran for like 370 yards in the 34-14 win over Mesquite. So what a great win for Tyler Legacy, their first of the year, and it's the first district win of the year. So winning when it matters, right? They can still make the playoffs and they still have a chance, and they're still in that fight. And they're off this week, but great win for Tyler Legacy, and congratulations to them getting their first win of the year. So let's get into the top 10 players of the week. At number 10, it's a guy that's been living on this list. It's Jets Rat. This time he goes 30 of 42 for 266 yards and 2 touchdowns and a big win over Bullet. Bullet was undefeated going into this game, but I think it was kind of, to me anyway, I kind of knew who was going to win and what the score was going to be. I knew they were going to take care of business down there in Carthage. Surratt, pretty good game. Efficiency not as high as it's been in the last couple of weeks, but controlling the ball, and the biggest thing, 0 interceptions. He's really taking care of that problem that he had at the beginning of the year, throwing those picks. And they rode a run game, and we'll talk about the running back a little bit later on. At number 9, Cameron Williams. This is like the third week in a row for Cam on this list. 17 carries, 178 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a big 41-0 win over Centerville. Centerville couldn't handle them, and they just scored in and at will whenever they wanted to at Jefferson. Cam's a really good football player, great speed. No super duper long runs this week, but he's physical now. He's bigger than he's been in the past. I think that's the biggest thing why he's wearing 3. I don't know if it was a switch from 3 to 5 or just the fact that he got a little older and the body got a little more mature. But definitely Cam is a much improved player from last year, and that's saying a lot because Cam was good last year. At number 8, Derek McFall. One of the few times that I'll let a person lose and still make this list, but 10 catches for 221 yards and 1 touchdown. Those numbers cannot be annoyed or avoided. McFall had a very good game against Mesquite, against McKinney North, and Tyler's first loss of the year. They lost 31-26. He was an explosive player. He got behind the defense one good time, and he looked like he was running like an out and up, but nobody accounted for him, and they threw that ball out there as far as they could and threw it to McFall, and he got his one long touchdown off of that. He's been playing primarily receiver. Anytime he's been running the ball, it's been on jet sweeps. So he's not been really playing running back like I thought he was going to play. He's a receiver, and he's been doing really, really well out there for Tyler, the only consistent part of the offense thus far. At number 7, Javari Johnson from T-High, Texas High. 18 carries, 180 yards, and 3 touchdowns, and a big 42-7 win over Hallsville. David Potter being out, Cam Reitner being the backup, coming in, playing for the Texas High Tigers. And you know, what do you do when you got a backup quarterback in? You go in and you lean on your run game. And Javari Johnson was just that. Tredarian Ball missed the game, so it really kind of all fell on the legs of Javari this past week, and he did an incredible job, averaging 10 yards a pop and going in for 3 touchdowns and a big 42-7 win over Hallsville. At number 6 is Kyler Finney of Winsboro, 20 of 27 for 410 yards and 6 touchdowns. He also ran the ball 4 times for 55 yards in a big 59-0 win over Raines. And look, Winsboro is just overpowers this team from the jump. He only played in the first half. All those numbers are first half numbers. And you kind of knew that they were going to try to get him his numbers early on. They tried to do as much as they could in the first half. In the second half, they shut the whole thing down. But, man, Kyler Finney is incredible. And the competition that he's playing from week-to-week basis, they're not. If he plays his best, there's not a chance a lot of these teams have against Winsboro. At number 5, Cole Jackson of West Rusk. Second time making the list. Not a huge offensive explosion. He only had 12 carries for 65 yards, but he did score the ball twice. And then he had 12 tackles on defense, and you counter that with an interception and a big 49-19 win over ARP for the West Rusk Raiders. I think a very good game from Cole. Like I said, he's a goal line. He's a short yardage type of back. He's going to get those touchdowns and plug them in. But also on defense, just being the lead tackler and also coming up with that football. A big interception that needs to be rewarded. At number 4, Jacoby Williams of Beckville. Just did a little bit of everything. 160 passing yards for the running back commit to Texas Tech for 3 touchdowns. 110 rushing yards, 1 touchdown. He had a 61-yard punt return for a touchdown. And then he had a 55-yard fumble return that was a touchdown. Also on defense, he recorded an interception. So 3, 4, 5, 6 touchdowns, all scored in 4 different ways for Jacoby Williams on top of an interception on defense and a big 69-14 win over Big Sandy this past weekend. At number 3, Luke Wolf from Tyler Legacy, 13-21 for 191 yards, 1 touchdown. Then he had 16 carries for 203 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a big 34-14 win over Mesquite. The first district opener of the year, the first win of the year for Tyler Legacy. Luke is incredible. He's an incredible athlete, and they do a really good job of scheming him in the run game, and they found some success with him running that football. And for 200 yards, 200 plus, that's just salty, man. Really good out of Luke Wolf right there. Big time performance there from the Tyler Legacy Raiders. They ran the ball really well. 370 rushing yards as a team. 203 coming from Luke. An incredible effort. And they are off this week, but they are 1-0 in district, and that's all that matters. None of that pre-district, none of that stuff matters. It's all about winning district and trying to get one of those 4 seeds to get into the playoffs. At number 2, we've got K.J. Edwards from Carthage, 18 carries, 223 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a big 45-14 win over Bullitt. You know, a lot of people are going to get fascinated by the stats of Jet Surratt, especially these last 3 weeks. They've been throwing the ball left and right all over the place. But if you know anything about a good Carthage football team, they have to run the ball in order to be successful. And so the last 3 weeks they've been playing some teams that they could handle. This week I was interested in seeing what the game plan would be with an undefeated Bullet coming into town. And it is what it is whenever they play a good team. They're going to run this football at you. And they were really good at it. KJ Edwards, 18 carries, 223 yards. And then on top of that, with Jet Surratt and his efficiency throwing the ball and not turning the ball over, it's going to kind of make Carthage really, really, really tough to beat. Like they're ever easy to beat anyway. Great performance from KJ Edwards. And at number 1, it's the number 1 running back in the nation. It's Taylor Tatum, 23 carries, 250 yards for 3 touchdowns. Then he had a big catch of 25 yards that went for a touchdown and a huge 52-35 win over Lancaster this past Friday. Taylor, he ran about as physically as I've ever seen him run. Like, he brought the pain to Lancaster, and that was the first time in a long time that I've seen him just, decide that, hey, I'm bringing the hat tonight, and none of y'all can do anything about it. The game plan got real simple with some headsets. Our headsets did not work Friday. So we all came down from the booth, and it turned into a JV style ass kicking. Everybody's on the sideline hollering, having a good time. No headsets. We're all communicating on the sideline, and we just figured out we could run the ball. And Taylor did an incredible job. Offensive line had a huge performance. Not to let those boys be outshadowed, man. They had a really good performance, and Taylor did the damn thing this past weekend, going for 250 and catching a touchdown as well. And the big 52-35 win for Longview over Lancaster. Longview's off this week on a bye week as well. So we won't be seeing those Lobos until next week. Let's look into the top 10 plays of the week. At number 10, it is an interception here by, I don't even know his name, but this is a big win for Lindale. Their defense has been playing bad all year, but they get up and step into a great play. That's a really great play by number 2 there for Lindale, catching that interception, turning the ball over. At 9, it's Sage Orange, and look at this dude, shifty, in and out, great cuts Oh, and he's fast, man. He can run, burning the entire Palestine defense after he ends and outs the whole D. Touchdown, Kilgore at number 8. That's probably my favorite receiver in East Texas is Jaylen Brown. Great, accurate throw by the quarterback. Puts him right in front of him, hits him in the hands. Touchdown, Knack. They lost that game 35-32. At number 7 is Andrew Tutt, the 30-yard speed option keeper all the way around the edge. Touchdown, Tutty. That's a touchdown for Longview. At number 6, who do we have here? It's back in Knack. Their quarterback scrambles to the left on the run, throws one up. And a very great acrobatic catch there by the receiver, number 1. Makes a great play. At number 4 is Taylor Tatum, running right through the hole, bursting through that thing, and running and separating from that whole Lancaster defense. 61-yard touchdown there from Taylor. At number 3 is Deshaun Williams, back-to-back weeks with a pick 6. This one's pretty good. He's rolling left. He comes back, catches the ball behind him on his right, and skips to Lou all the way to the end zone. Touchdown, Deshaun Williams. At number 2 is Willie Nelson. At the end of the game, I'm just going to throw that paw up there and pick that ball off with one hand. Great play by Willie. Gets a decent return. It's the end of the game. That's why the effort's not really high on both sides right there, but a really, really great interception with one hand by Willie Nelson. And at number 1, it's J-Rob. Javian Robertson catches the pick off of the tip pass. Longview was down 14-21 at this time, or 14-7. That pick 6 ties the ball game up, and that was the number 2 play. And the number 1 play comes from Jefferson. No, it's not. It comes from Atlanta. A guy that's been playing cornerback for him, but he slides over and plays running back, and he knew it deep not only once but twice. He goes 70 yards as he gets 2 insane runs. This is incredible balance, keeping his feet there, skating down that sideline all the way into the end zone. Those are your top 10 plays of the week. All right, so let's get back into it. The top 10 most intriguing games of the week. At number 10, you better believe it, Gladewater is right back on here. Gladewater getting new life. They're about to play district. They're about to play some teams that they could possibly beat. And tonight it starts with Tatum. They can get at Tatum, and they've been getting at Tatum ever since they've been in the district with each other. These two teams are a rival. These two teams compete really well whenever they play each other. Gladewater been running the gauntlet, playing Malakoff, playing Gunner, playing Dangerfield, playing some really tough teams. They're looking for their first win, and they're on the watch. They're on that overwatch. Hopefully they can get it done tonight. I'm rooting for those Bears. Get out of that loss column. Get over there in that win column tonight against Tatum. Don't know if it'll happen. Cole Watson is a really good football player. Carson Gonzalez, the rest of those dudes out there at Tatum, they do a really good job out there. So we'll see what they got for Whitney Keeling's got for them. Let's go number 10, Gladewater at Tatum. And number 9, Pottsboro at Mineola. Pottsboro really don't cover them that much, but they do have a running back by the name of Major McBride, who was incredible. I mean, he's leading the state in touchdowns and yards in 4A or 3A. And he's been playing really, really good this year as well. Mineola, on the other hand, has been surprisingly good. Like losing Dawson Pendergrass, who starts for Baylor at running back, which I would have never thought he would went in and started this year. They're losing a big chunk of what they do, but they're still physical. They still get down on the ground. Braden Alley has been good for them this year. So this will be an interesting game for those in the Mineola area, if nothing else, just to come watch Major McBride in Pottsboro. And number 8, Van at Canton. This is a rivalry type game. Van, typically has dominated this series in the last 3 or 4 years, but Canton's got a little fight to them. They've been scoring points this year, and Justice Petrie has been the number 1 receiver for them out there. They're going to have an explosive offensive day. I don't know if they can do it against Van. Van plays really good defense, so give me the Van Vandals tonight at number 8. And number 7 is Carthage at Brownsboro. Not really expecting this to be a close game at all. I think Carthage is going to go out here and take care of business. What makes this intriguing is Jacal Baker out wide. He has maybe the most talented receiver on the field for both teams. Not even a maybe. He is the most talented receiver on the field. When you've got one that's that talented, and you've got a guy in Adam Thompson who can and will throw that ball up there to him, you do have somewhat of a fighting chance. So I don't expect Brownsboro to win this game, but I do expect to see some highlights coming, some explosive highlights coming from Jacal Baker this week, especially with Adam Thompson throwing that football. And number 6, Kilgore at Jacksonville, another team that's on the overwatch, Jacksonville. And I don't think they're going to get out of that column tonight either. Kilgore is explosive. Kilgore runs the ball. They're really, really, really good and really, really physical on both sides of the football. They've got some great defensive backs who have been picking the ball off left and right, and Jacksonville has just been not very good this year, to save bad words. They just haven't been very good. And I don't think it's going to change tonight. I got the Kilgore Bulldogs taking out Jacksonville. And number 5, Athens at Lindale. This is an interesting matchup because Jamari Manning is going to cause problems, both running the football and defensively. Number 91 on the top 100 list last year, Jamari Manning is a dude. Lindale kind of figured it out last week. They played some defense out of nowhere. Henderson, I expected to have more success on offense, especially against this Lindale D that had been struggling for the last year and a half anyway. But Jordan Smiley couldn't get anything off. Threw picks left and right. I don't want to say left and right. He did throw a pick in that game. Lindale showed up, turned the ball over, played good D, and they're going to run the football, and they're going to be really good at it. Clint Thurman is leading East Texas, or is second in East Texas in rushing yards through week 5, and so he's been playing in lights-out football. Also, he is a passing threat as well, and so Lindale is starting to look a little more balanced, and if they can play defense, maybe they can compete with the top of this district in Chapel Hill. And Kilgore at number 4 is Chapel Hill. Chapel Hill this time on the road against Palestine. Palestine just struggled. The Kilgore just lost big, just gave up a lot of yards on the ground. Expect the exact same thing this week from Chapel Hill. Chapel Hill, one of the most talented teams, if not the most talented team in East Texas from an individual talent standpoint. These guys can run it. Ricky Stewart's incredible. Brisbane, you guys know these guys by now if you've been watching the show. Chapel Hill is incredible, and so I'm expecting big things out of them in a blowout win at Palestine tonight. At number 3, Pine Tree at Nacogdoches, and this is so intriguing to me because Pine Tree is so up and down. They look good against some teams, and they look terrible against others. Marshall gave it to them. But Nac isn't Marshall. Nac is, I thought Nac had a little bit more than what they had. I saw them against Lufkin. They're not as good as I thought they were. But they do have a really good receiver in Jalen Brown. This is going to be a very, very intriguing game. This game could go back and forth because I don't know who's going to play defense and who's not. Hell, I don't even know who's going to play offense and who isn't. Like, it's one of those type of games because I don't know who's going to play offense and who's going to play defense. They're both teams decide to play when they want to, and this will be a very intriguing matchup between these two. And there'll be one that is interesting down there in Nac this Friday night. At number 2, Texas High at Mount Pleasant. Now, this is interesting. This game should be fun to see. Cam Reitner done an incredible job last week against Hallsville. Is David Potter going to be back? Hamstring injury, is he coming back? Is he not? Does Mount Pleasant have enough defensively to make things muddy for Cam Reitner? He's with a week of practice, he's turned into that guy. They had a really good offensive plan. But is Ball coming back? Is he ready to play? Is Potter coming back? Is he ready to play? TJ Gray's been playing both sides of the football. Is he going to be worn down? It'll be very interesting to see. There's a lot of things that can set up an upset for Mount Pleasant, but the biggest thing that's going to have to happen is Mason McMahon's going to have to ball his A off. There's no doubt about it. He's going to have to play the game of his life in order to beat Texas High. Give me the Tigers in this game. Big win for Texas High coming. And the number one game this week, it was a thrilling showdown last year, and it's going to be another great game this year. Rusk at Center. Caden Dixon is leading East Texas in rushing yards with over 1,100. I think he has 1,164 rushing yards going into week 6. He's been playing lights out. He's been running over everything and running by everything. Center also has Cash Cross, who's been playing exceptionally well this year as well. Rusk, on the other hand, new quarterback, moving in Brady Berry. He's been playing lights out, going for over 300 yards multiple times this season. Rusk has always been a very good offensive team. They've replaced one quarterback, Aiden McCown, with Brady Berry, and they're still going to be able to do some things explosively on offense. Center hasn't played very good defense this year. So this is a game I'm expecting to go back and forth. I don't know if Rusk has enough to stop Center. Center's at home this year. They're looking for revenge. Give me the Rough Riders in this one. This would be a very intriguing and interesting matchup, and I'm going to go with the Rough Riders in this one. So it's been another one. Hope you guys enjoy it. Subscribe to the page, like, share it, let somebody know that kind of stuff goes down. It's been another one. It's small school, pretty much small.